Special thanks to Patreon supporter The Grand Pope for making this tutorial possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scaretofo here, bringing you another Minecraft World War II map to build tutorial. In this tutorial we go ahead and build the USS Alaska. USS Alaska CB-1 was the lead ship of the Alaska class of large cruisers, which served the United States Navy during the end of World War II. She was one of the first of 2 ships of her class to be completed, followed only by Guam. 4 other ships were ordered but were not completed before the end of the war. Alaska was the 3rd vessel of the U.S. Navy to be named after what was then the territory of Alaska. She was laid down on December 17, 1941, 10 days after the United States entered the war. Was launched in August 1943 by the New York Shipbuilding Corporation in Camden, New Jersey, and was commissioned in June 1944. She was armed with a main battery of 9 12-inch or 300mm guns and 3 triple turrets, and had a top speed of 33 knots or 38 miles per hour. Due to being commissioned late in the war, Alaska saw relatively limited service. She participated in operations off of Iwo Jima and Okinawa in February through July of 1945, including providing anti-air defense for various carrier task forces and conducting limited shore bombardment operations. She shot down several Japanese aircraft off Okinawa, including a possible Oka-piloted missile. In July through August 1945, she participated in sweeps for Japanese shipping in the East China and Yellow Seas. After the end of the war, she assisted in the occupation of Korea and transported a contingent of U.S. Army troops back to the United States. She was decommissioned in February 1947 and placed in reserve, where she remained until she was stricken in 1960 and sold for scrap the following year. So yeah, the USS Alaska here, a class of ship that really doesn't get much of a reputation or much really knowledge for it. I think mainly just due to the fact that it really didn't see any major combat, so therefore it was just kind of disregarded and kind of forgotten, but it was really kind of the first, I would guess you can say, battle cruiser that the United States fielded. Battle cruisers were not a very common thing in the United States Navy, really at all. So it was kind of that weird thing where for some reason the United States didn't want to categorize it as a battle cruiser, but it pretty much was a battle cruiser. So cool ship, and I'm really happy to add it to our BAFTA build fleets as our basically first battle cruiser here for the United States Navy. Before we go ahead and take a look at the build, I do want to go ahead and give special thanks to Patreon supporter The Grand Pope for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel where you already do, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you can always put a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so earn a video request of your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel, and again is really appreciated, so definitely feel free to check it out. And again, link is for that always in the video descriptions. With that though, let's go ahead and dive in here to take a look at the USS Alaska. So the USS Alaska here does have its kind of iconic camouflage, which was kind of the gray and black camouflage pattern that it seemed to support for, I would say, probably most of the war, if not all of it. But yeah, so it's got that color scheme on it. We don't have really too many camos on our American ships, so I definitely want to go ahead and throw this on here because I think it's very, iconic and makes the Alaska. But we have the front bow of the ship here, little anti-aircraft gun positions. We then get into our first 2 gun batteries. Again, these are 12-inch guns in triple mounts, so pretty good firepower. It's got some supporting secondary armament, most likely 5-inch guns if I remember correctly. You have the conning tower and the bridge structure here. You can definitely tell it was a later war ship just due to the amount of anti-aircraft guns this ship does have on it for its size. Definitely, the United States put more and more anti-aircraft guns on the ship as possible, as planes were really the biggest threat near the end of the war, and kamikazes and all that. You do have some launchers here for seaplanes, and those are basically, on both sides there. We have some cranes here in the back, as well as some lifeboats, and again, just more fire control systems, obviously your front mast there, and as we approach the back further here, we have our rear turret, again, more secondary batteries, and our more anti-aircraft gun batteries here on the very back. And you can see it's a relatively big ship for what it is. Obviously, it's not as big there as the Iowa, you can see right behind it, but it really kind of follows almost in suit in size of how big it is. So I definitely don't think that this is a large cruiser, but more along the lines of a actual battle cruiser. But yeah, that right there is pretty much it for the overview here for the USS Alaska CB-1, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving into our tutorial. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we will be going ahead and starting off with layer 1. If you are completely new to my BAFTA build tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I like to do half on camera, half off. What this means is we're going to be building the entire center line of the ship on camera, and then we will be building the right side. And this will be done for the first probably about 3 layers for this build. And after that, once we get into like the superstructure and the guns and just kind of more of the detail-oriented areas, we will go ahead and swap over and do basically everything all together. So just keep that in mind as we progress for these first few layers here. That is kind of the structure that we are basically going with for this tutorial. Anyways though, let's go ahead and jump into it and get started here. So for our first layer, we have layer 1. Now layer 1 here is going to be basically part of the section or the ship known as a draft that does sit underwater. If you are placing this in the water, you do want to make sure you do position this correctly. So to make sure you position this correctly, you can see we have this line of blue concrete. This represents the water level. So our water level is going to sit at this level here, and we basically have layer 1 starting right below that. So to go ahead and begin our layer here, we're going to go ahead and place down a long row of red concrete that's going to extend most of the center line here of the ship for a total of 40 blocks in length. After those 40 blocks in length, the direction you want the front of the ship facing, which we'll put that way, we're going to place down a brick wall and then 2 red stained glass panes. That's going to make your front. Then the rear of the ship, we're going to place down a red stained glass pane. We're going to go and skip a space, and then we're going to place down 2 brick walls going back like that. And that is going to be everything you need to do there for your center line. Now at this point in time, we're going to go and start working our way out to the sides now. We'll start off by going ahead and going to this rear section here. We're going to place down a acacia wood fence gate coming off this glass pane, and we're going to go ahead and open the fence gate toward the glass pane like so. We're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood slab that's going to go back from the fence gate, and then we're going to place down 2 lightning rods going forward from that fence gate like so, followed by a brick top slab, 2 brick upside down stairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 red concrete blocks, 2 brick walls, 2 red stained glass panes forward like that. Then going ahead and going to the back here again, we're going to go and go to the second red concrete block. We're going to place down a red stained glass pane here on the side, then 1, 2, 3 forward. Then 1, 2, 3 brick walls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red concrete, 1, 2, 3 brick walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 red stained glass panes forward like that. And the very last thing we need to do here is we're going to take our lightning rods and we're going to place down 1, 2 going back from that glass pane. We're going to go and then place down a acacia wood fence gate, open it toward this stair there, and then a birchwood slab going back from this fence gate. And after you have that all done right there, that is going to basically complete everything we have here for layer 1. Again, you'll take what we did on the right side and flip it over to the left side. Taking a look at it from the top-down view, this is what you should have when looking down at it from above. Anyways, though, that is going to conclude everything we have there for layer number 1 of the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 2. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to get started with here, we're going to place down a red stained glass pane on top of this one here in the front. And we're going to go ahead and place down 2 brick walls back from that glass pane. After that, we're going to go ahead and switch to our red concrete. And we're going to place down a row of red concrete going all the way down the center line of our ship for a total of 41 blocks. And it should stick out 1 past the original row and basically be right on top of that red stained glass pane. Behind that, we're going to place down a brick top slab, then 2 red concrete blocks, another brick top slab, and another acacia wood trapdoor on the very end here. We're going to go ahead and then take our acacia wood trapdoors. We're going to place down 2 trapdoors like that. Then we want to place down 1, 2 brick top slabs, a brick upside down stair, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34 red concrete blocks. I'm going to go and just double check my count here to make sure, and it is going to be 33 blocks in total, followed by 1, 2 brick walls and 2 red stained glass panes. We're going to go ahead and then go to the side here of that row we just placed, and we're going to go ahead and go to the 4th block back from the front. We're going to place down a red stained glass pane on the side of that block, and then 2 more glass panes back from that. We then want to place down 2 brick walls, and then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 red concrete blocks, 2 brick walls, and then 3 red stained glass panes going back like that. After that is all done right there, that is going to basically complete everything we have there for layer number 2 for the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 3. Alright guys, moving into our next layer here, we have layer 3. Layer 3 here will be the last layer. We will be doing the half on, half off, and after this we will be going ahead and basically doing everything all together. Now, one thing I do want to mention also is that we will be building the ship with the camouflage built in. If you do want to build the ship without the camouflage, or you want to do something different, you're more than welcome to basically build it without. Just know that any black or darker colored blocks that we're going to be placing, that you go ahead and swap over to stone or basically the lighter block equivalent. So again, just keep that in mind going forward. With that though, let's go ahead and get started with our first thing. What we're going to do is we're going to place down 2 andesite walls. They're going to go on top of this red stained glass pane here and that brick wall. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 black concrete blocks, 2 stone blocks, and then 3 black concrete blocks. We're going to go then place down a long row of gray wool that's going to extend down the entire center line of our ship for a total of 39 blocks. On the very last trapdoor here on the back, we're going to place down a stone block. Going to the side of the stone block, we're going to place down an andesite wall. And we're going to go then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stone blocks forward, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black concrete. We're going to switch back to our gray wool, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 of our gray wool going forward like that. We're going to go then place down 1, 2, 3 black concrete blocks, and then 1, 2, 3 polished black stone walls, a black stained glass pane, and then 2 light gray stained glass panes going forward. After that's done, we're going to go then place down a black stained glass pane that's going to come off the side here of this black concrete block here. And then we're going to place down 1 more back, then a light gray stained glass pane, and then 2 andesite walls. After those 2 andesite walls, we're going to go and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stone blocks. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stone blocks, an andesite wall, and then a polished black stone wall, followed by 1, 2, 3, and 4 black stained glass panes going back. After that is all done right there, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 3. Let me just go ahead and double check I'm not missing any little detail bits, and everything does appear to be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and call that layer good. Again, here's an aerial overview of what it should look like from the top down view. Just a little side note is that on the real Alaska, the camouflage is a little different on the 2 sides. So you can obviously take that into consideration if you do want to. But for our model that we have here, we just went ahead and did the same camo on both sides just to keep it consistent. With that all out of the way, that's going to do it for this layer. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 4. Now, layer 4 here is going to be the first layer we start that is going to be basically completely done on camera. So this is going to be quite a long layer, as we do have a lot of stuff that we're going to be setting up. But with that out of the way, let's get started here. We're going to start off by placing down an andesite wall here on the front, and then a light gray stained glass pane coming off the andesite wall going forward. We're going to go ahead and then place down a stone full block, going back from that wall, followed by a second stone full block after that. On this first stone block, we're going to place down an item frame to both sides, a crossbow in the item frame, which we're going to rotate to face downwards like so for our anchor, and that right there is going to basically finish that off. We'll then place down a skeleton skull on both sides of that second stone block. For Java players, we're going to place down 2 pistons that go back from the stone blocks, as well as skeleton skulls on the side here. If you are not on Java, I'd recommend probably an alternative here is to place down another stone block and then a polished blackstone slab. So again, a stone block and a polished blackstone slab as an alternative here to the pistons. But again, if you're on Java, we'll place down our 2 pistons, and we'll be using our debug stick here later on those pistons. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 polished blackstone slabs after those blocks there, and then we're going to place down a skeleton skull to basically both sides, like that on those glass panes. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves daylight detectors, and we're going to place down a row of 3 of daylight detectors, then a second row of 3, and then we're going to go and turn these to the night mode, like so. After that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab our stone brick slab, and we also want to go ahead and make sure we grab a hopper here. We're going to place down a stone brick slab that's going to be 1 back from that daylight detector, and then we're going to go and then place down a stone brick upside down stair behind that. We're going to go ahead and then place down a hopper on both sides of the stone brick stair, as well as a skeleton skull on the side here of that stair. We're also going to go and take our end rods, and we're going to go ahead and place down end rods coming off the skeleton skulls and the stone brick stair there for the front, and that's going to be our first battery. Now, if you're a Java player, we can also go ahead and place down the item frames underneath these pistons, or not the piston, but the skeleton skull and the hopper, and using kind of a cool technique here. You also just make sure you do place the hopper on the side of the stair, so not like on the block, but on coming off the stair, so it actually connects up like so. But after that, a little side note there, we're going to place down our item frames, and we can go and then grab ourselves a gray stained glass pane, and we can put it in the item frame. So just to kind of help keep that color a little bit more consistent. It's nothing major, not a huge detail aspect, but just something a little nice there, again, for us Java players. We're going to go then place down a stone block here in the center, and then behind that, we want to go and place down a black concrete block. We'll take our light gray stained glass panes, and we're going to place it on both sides here of this stone block, as well as placing down a black stained glass pane, going back, or actually rather a polished black stone wall, going back from that glass pane. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, and 1, 2 of black concrete on the sides there, as well as a row of 2 of gray wool there in the middle. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves a dark oak wood fence gate. And since this is kind of a darker color of the ship where the black is showing, we're going to go ahead and place down a fence gate here. It's dark oak wood, and then we're going to place down an item frame on top of that like so. And in the item frame, we're going to go ahead and place down a white bed like that. And we're going to do the same thing over here as well. So again, we'll grab our fence gate here. Here we're just going to go ahead and repeat the same thing. We're going to go ahead and then take our gray wool. We're going to place another one in the block in the center there. Then we want to go ahead and place down a stone block that's going to be on both sides, like so. We're going to go ahead and go back with one more stone block on both sides, and their gray wool block there in the center. Coming off this second stone block, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair to both sides. And we then want to go ahead and grab ourselves our black concrete, and our black concrete is going to show up here again with a black concrete block on both sides there, and then a gray wool block there in the center. Now, we're going to take our black, or rather our stone blocks, we're going to go ahead and go back from the black concrete with 2 blocks on both sides, and then a gray wool block in the center, and then a stone block here in the center. Coming off those blocks there, we're going to go ahead and very simply just place down 1, 2, 3 skeleton skulls like so. After that's all done, we want to go ahead and then grab our gray wool, or our gray carpet I should say. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 gray carpet like that. Then taking our andesite walls, we're going to place down 1, 2, and same thing over here, 1, 2. If you're on Java, we can go ahead and also place down an item frame here on the side here of these walls, so facing toward the front and back. And just like we did before, so for some extra lifeboats or rafts or whatever, we're going to place down some white beds in those item frames, which are going to be rotated horizontally. After that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab a redstone repeater, and we're going to place down a redstone repeater here on the stone block, and we're going to go and separate the notches apart like so. Then we want to place down a row of 3 of stone blocks across this space here, and then a stone, or rather, sorry, 1 block in the center, and then a stone upside down stair to the sides there. We're going to go and then place down an andesite wall going back from those stairs, and then another stone block in the center. We're going to place down another stone block here in the center, and then another stone upside down stair to both sides. We're also going to go ahead and take a levers. We're going to place down 2 levers here, and then a skeleton skull, and same thing over here, 2 levers and a skeleton skull. Then we're going to go ahead and place down a black concrete block that's going to be here in the middle, and we're going to go then place down a black stained glass pane here that's going to be out here to the sides. We're going to place down another 1 and 2 black concrete blocks back, and then we're going to place down a black concrete block going back from those black stained glass panes, as well as another black stained glass pane going back from those. On the inside here, we are going to go ahead and grab ourselves our dark oak fence gates again, and we're going to go ahead and very simply just place down 1 and 2 fence gates on the further back 2 blocks. Then after that, we want to go ahead and then place down a polished black stone wall that's going to go back from those fence gates, as well as a black concrete block there in the center. We're going to go then place down a row of 3 of black concrete across, and we're going to go then place down a black concrete block here in the center, a black stained glass pane to both sides. Then going back to this black concrete block, we're going to place down 2 more blocks going down the center there like so. On the sides, again for anti-aircraft guns, we're going to place down first off a skeleton skull on top of that black concrete block, same thing over here. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a lever on both sides, then a gray carpet, then again 2 levers like this going back here. And again, for Java players, we can do a cool technique here where we actually place down our item frames on the same block there as the item frame, or as the levers there, and it kind of helps create like a little bit of an anti-aircraft gun position, or kind of like a little kind of protected area. It's not obviously a perfect design, but it's just something to kind of add there to give a little bit more of that appearance that it's kind of more of like a protected fighting position. Anyways, though, once that's all done there, we're going to go and continue on by going ahead and grab our stone brick stairs here again and our hoppers. We're going to build our rear turret, which is going to be a stone brick up sound stair, stone brick stair, and then a hopper coming off both sides here of that stair. And also, again, our skeleton skulls come off the side here of the stair. And just like we did in the front there, we're going to go ahead and grab our end rods, and we're just going to go ahead and go back, for end rods across those blocks. After that is all done, we're going to go ahead and grab our redstone repeaters. We're going to place down our redstone repeater that is going to go on top of this stone block here. We're going to go ahead and separate the notches like so, as well as a gray carpet on top of this wall. We're also going to go ahead and grab ourselves a quartz slab, and we're going to place down a quartz slab here on top of these walls like that. And after we have that done there, we'll go ahead and grab our stone buttons, and we're going to place down 2 stone buttons down the center here, as well as taking our gray carpet, and we're going to place down 2 gray carpets to the side. We're going to go ahead and continue our gray carpet with 2 more gray carpets extending along the side there. On these 2 black stained glass panes, we're also going to place down item frames, and we're going to go ahead and place down some white bits in those item frames, like so, for some, again, life rafts here on the back of the ship. Now, after that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab a piston, and we're going to place down a piston here in the center. Again, if you're a Java player, we'll place down the piston. If you are not on Java, then instead of the piston, I would recommend like a stone brick slab or something as an alternative to the piston. We're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull coming off the side here toward the front of the ship, and then we're going to go ahead and then grab a birchwood fence gate and place it going toward the rear. This fence gate, though, will open up toward the piston like that. For our more heavier anti-aircraft guns, we're going to go ahead and grab our stone cutters, and we're going to place down a stone cutter, which is going to sit on top of this black concrete block, and we want to go ahead and position them like so. We're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate coming off the side here of the stone cutter, and we're going to go ahead and then open it toward it. So it's going to look like that there on both sides. Then taking our stone buttons, we're going to place down 1 and 2 stone buttons down the center here, as well as taking our gray carpet and placing down 2 gray carpets along the side there of those buttons. We then want to go ahead and grab our redstone repeater, and we're going to place down our redstone repeater here, separate the notches, same thing to that side. And we're also going to go ahead and then take our rails, and we're going to place down a row of 3 of rails going across the back. We'll then take our stone cutter, we're going to place down a stone cutter like this on both sides here, and we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate. It's going to be coming off those stone cutters there toward the rear. And then lastly, we're just going to go ahead and fill in the space in the center here with our gray carpets like that between the anti-aircraft guns to go ahead and round out our back. And once we have that all done, that is going to basically wrap up what we have there for the main structure for this layer. Now, there are some things that we are going to go ahead and cover. They're going to be more of a Java-specific thing. And this is where we're going to kind of get into the area of which basically Java players are going to be able to make a little bit more details and kind of get stuff a little bit nicer looking and some cooler designs instead of just being not on Java. But basically, the tool we will be using for these is going to be the debug stick. We'll use the command /give app Minecraft :debug_stick. So this command right here, by pressing enter, it will give us this glowing stick. What we can do is we can go ahead and go to our pistons to begin with, and we're going to go ahead and left click these pistons until we get selected, extended, false. We'll then right click and we'll actually get rid of that wood portion and kind of recess the piston like that, and it kind of just helps there a little bit with the shaping. Now, once that's all done, we then want to go ahead and also grab ourselves some blocks that we can tell apart from the build that we can get rid of later. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of build off the side here of these glass panes, and this will be the same thing here on both sides. We're going to go ahead and then take our levers, so we'll grab some levers from here, and we're going to place down our levers on the side, and we can then go ahead and use our debug stick here, left click them until we get selected face. It should say wall. We're going to go ahead and right click this, and we're going to set this to floor. And we're going to do this on both sides. And so those levers there will stick on top of those glass panes. We can then also go ahead and just place down our item frames. So the same technique that we used before on our other side mounting guns can be done also here to create those little fighting positions there for those anti-aircraft guns. Then going up here toward the front, we're also going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Come off these walls and then coming off these 2 glass panes here. So again, we'll use the same technique. Our levers across the side here, our debug stick, like so. And we can only place down the item frames on these 2 forward guns because we do have the walls here and you cannot place down an item frame on top of the wall. And over here, we're going to go and do the same thing. So Again, nothing too crazy here, but just the same technique. And after you have that all done, that right there was going to basically create your other little anti-aircraft guns. Again, Java here, we do have the ability to add them in, which is really nice. Unfortunately, if you are not on Java and don't have access to a debug stick, you do miss out a little bit on some of this little detail here. But you can definitely find some alternatives, maybe place down some flower pots or something. Who knows? There are definitely some little alternatives you can do to kind of help show that there's something there. But unfortunately, you just won't be able to get the exact nice detail of those kind of levers that actually look like guns. Anyways, though, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer 4. That is going to be our longest layer, as there was a lot covered. Again, here's an aerial view of what it should look like from the top-down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 5. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer 5. For layer 5 to start with, we're going to place down an end rod on top of this glass pane here in the front, and then we're just going to go ahead and place down an iron bar on top of it to go ahead and complete that front little mass there. We're going to go ahead and place down a gray carpet here, followed by a stonebrick slab, and then a skeleton skull coming off the side of that slab. We'll also place down an item frame on top of that stone block, and we're going to go ahead and place down a gray stained glass pane in the item frame, like so. Once that's done, go ahead and move it back here. We're going to place down a stone brick stair on top of this stone block and a stone brick up-down stair directly behind that. We'll then place down a hopper on both sides of the stair, as well as placing down a skeleton skull on both sides of that stair as well. And then 1, 2, 3 end rods going across the front there for our second and last turret. We're going to go ahead and place down a black concrete block here in the center, followed by a gray concrete block here in the center as well. And we'll go ahead and then take our polished blackstone stairs, and we're going to place down an upside down polished blackstone stair to both sides of that gray concrete. We also want to go ahead and grab gray wool, and we're going to place down gray wool on top of the black concrete right there in those spaces there. After that's done, we're going to continue on by placing down a black concrete block down the center here, followed by a second, and then a third one, like so. On this third one here, we're going to place down a black polished blackstone upside down stair on both sides, like that. And then in this space here, we're going to go ahead and grab a line of black stained glass panes, and we're just going to place down black stained glass panes like that to fill those spaces in. We're also going to go ahead and grab a stone brick stair, and we're going to place this on top of these two stone stairs. We're going to go ahead and grab our birchwood signs and fence gate. We'll place down a fence gate coming off these stairs, and then a birchwood sign coming off the side there of the stairs as well for our 5-inch secondary batteries. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 1 and 2 stone blocks here down the center. We'll go ahead and grab some polished blackstone slabs, and we're going to go ahead and place down 2 polished blackstone slabs to the side of those stone blocks. We're also going to take a birchwood sign, and we're going to place it on both sides here of the first slab right there. After that's done, on top of the stone or the inside walls, we're going to place down 2 stone brick stairs. They're going to be back to back like so. And we then want to go ahead and go forward from the stairs here with stone brick top slabs, going forward and going back like that, and that'll be the start there of our seaplane launchers. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 stone blocks right here for our funnel. This is going to be followed up with a lever that's going to be on top of the stone stair. Again, for Java players, we can also place down the item frame if you do want, like that for that little gun position there. Then we're going to go ahead and take our anvils. We're going to place down an anvil here on these 2 walls, as well as a piston that's going to be in the center here. Again, an alternative here to the piston can be a stone brick slab, a stone stair, whatever you really want would work here, but we're going to go ahead and use a piston in this case. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick top slab, going back from the piston or from those anvils as well. Then after we have that finished there, we're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull in the center here. And we then want to go ahead and place down a stone brick stair that's going to be like this going back. And after that stone brick stair, we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 stone full blocks. Now along the sides here, we're going to go ahead and also place down a stone brick stair that's going to go on top of these black concrete blocks. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a birchwood fence gate coming off the stair, opened up toward it, and then we're going to go ahead and also place a birchwood sign on the side here of the stair as well. So it's going to be, again, on both sides here. After that is all done, we're also going to go ahead and place down a white bed that is going to go on top of these fence gates like so. And we're also going to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair that's going to go on top of that wall, again on both sides. We're going to go ahead and place down a lever here, then an item frame, and same thing over here, another lever, and another item frame there. Then a skeleton skull on both sides of the stone block, and then a stone upside down stair here, followed by a stone brick stair that's going to be like this, Coming off the stone brick stair, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, open up toward it, and then a birchwood sign on both sides here of the stair. After that is all done, we then, again, for Java players, will place down an item frame here, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a white bed that is going to go in the item frame like that. After that, on the back here also, we just have one thing to do, and that's going to be placing down an end rod on top of this fence gate, and just so we don't have to worry about it later, we're also just going to go ahead and grab ourselves our end rod, and we're just going to go ahead and place down our end rod that goes up from the, our iron bar that goes up from the end rod, like so. And after we have that all done right there, that's going to basically wrap that up. The one thing we do have, we're actually not going to go and touch. So we're going to leave that alone, the piston for right now. But anyways, that is going to complete everything we have here for this layer. Again, taking a look at it from above here, this is what you should have for the top-down view so far with layer number 6 completed. With that, though, we'll go ahead and move into our next layer, layer number 7. Okay, so moving into our next layer, we are moving on to layer 6. Now, for layer 6 here, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stone brick stair that's going to go on top of this black concrete block here. And we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate going forward from it, and then a birchwood sign on both sides of the stair right there for our, again, secondary battery. Again, like we did for the rear turret, if you're on Java, we'll place down an item frame right there, and then a white bed in the item frame rotated sideways like so. Continuing on though, we're going to go ahead and grab a polished black stone wall. We're going to place it here on the back of the turret. And we then want to go ahead and go on top of the wall. And actually, we're going to leave that alone for right now. That'll be something we'll do a little later. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone upside down stair here. Then a black concrete block behind it. This right here is going to be followed up with a piston that's going to sit right here. And then another black concrete block here behind the piston. And then a black stained glass pane after all that. We're going to go ahead and then grab our levers, and we're going to place down a lever here on this stair and this stair here. Same thing over here on this side, and just again using the same technique we did for Java players, we'll go ahead and use our item frame, and we'll place it on top of those stairs as well. Now after that is done, we then want to go ahead and place down a row of rails. They're going to be going in this section here, so we're going to place down 4 rails like that for those catapults. And also, we do want to go ahead and grab some chains here, and we're going to go ahead and just make our little radio antennas here, or antennas on the side here of the superstructure with just some chains going upwards like so. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then continue on. If you're on Java, again, we'll use our debug stick, and we will go ahead and set that piston like we've done before. So it's going to sit like that there in that section. Then we're going to place down 2 stone blocks on top of here, and then we're going to go to sides here on top of the anvils, and we're going to place down a stone block like that. An andesite wall like that. We're going to go then go up our first stone brick slabs from that slab there, kind of going up at an angle, and then we're going to place down a slab and then a top slab. So it's going to look like that there from the side. We then want to go ahead and grab some chains, and we're going to place down a chain going between this wall and this stone brick slab here, as well as a chain on top of the bed here, going upwards toward our crane. Now with that done, continuing on, we're going to go ahead and place down a andesite wall here in the center. We're going to go ahead and then place down a lever on these 2 stairs here, and then an item frame on top of those stairs, like that, again, for Java players. We'll then also place down a birchwood fence gate that's going to be in the center here, opened up toward that wall. And also, we want to go ahead and place down a end rod that is going to be here in the center, on top of the stair, going upwards, like so. And that right there is pretty much all we have for that. Also, in this center space here, we are going to place down a birchwood fence gate and open it like so. And we'll also use our debug stick here, right-click our piston, and we can go ahead and reset it, or set it like that. And that's going to finish that section there. We then want to go ahead and grab a iron trapdoor. So grab one from here, and we're going to place down an iron trapdoor after that wall, as well as a birchwood sign on both sides of the iron trapdoor. We're going to go then place down a stone brick stair, and then we're going to go and then place down an end rod, and then going up from the end rod, just so we don't have to worry about it later. We're going to go and place down our 2 iron bars up like so. Also, near the front here where we put these chains, on the first chains, we're going to place down 2 iron bars up, and then the second chains, we're going to place down 2 more chains that go up like that for those antenna. Anyways, though, after that is all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have here for this layer. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything, and everything does appear to be good to go. So with that, that is going to conclude everything we have there for layer number 6. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 7. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 7. For layer 7 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a skeleton skull that's going to sit on top of this wall right here. And we then want to go ahead and go back from that with a flower pot. In this middle space here, we're going to place down a stone brick stair. Then we want to place down a stone block on top of that black concrete, and then a black stained glass pane going back from that like so. We're also going to place down an iron trapdoor here to both sides. We'll go ahead and grab ourselves an item frame, and also we'll need a snowball, which will be for the item frame as well. We're going to place down an item frame and a snowball like that, which is going to create basically this little spotlight there on the side there of the funnel. Or not the funnel, but the mast there. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone block here, and then that's going to be followed up with a black concrete block, like so. We'll grab our dark oak wood fence gates that we used before, and we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate that's going to be basically on top of that andesite wall, opened up toward the block like so. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick slab on top of those chains, and we also want to go ahead and then place down a chain that goes up from this end rod. Or rather, actually, we don't even need to put the chain. We can just go ahead and place down 1, 2, and 3 iron bars up just to go ahead and finish that off. Then we're just going to place down an andesite wall here. Again, so we don't have to worry about it later, we'll just place down a birchwood fence gate and open it toward the front there as well. And then lastly, we're going to go and grab a oakwood trapdoor, place it on top of the stair, and open it up toward the front there, like so, for that little rangefinder there. And that right there is going to conclude everything we have for layer 7. And at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and just basically move into our final layers and wrap up the build. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our last final layers here of the USS Alaska. Moving into our final layers here, we have layers 8 through 13. For these layers to go ahead and get started with, we're going to go ahead and begin with by going ahead and go into our stair here. We're going to place down a wooden trapdoor on top of it and open it toward the back there like so. We're going to place down 1 and 2 more stone blocks that go up like so. On that first block there, we're going to place down a skeleton skull. And then we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone block that goes back on the other side like so. On the sides, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some light gray stained glass panes. And we're going to place down 2 light gray stained glass panes to both sides there of those stone blocks. And then on the very back here, we're also going to place down a lever on the stone block like that. Going ahead and going up from this, we're going to go ahead and grab our end rods. And grab one from right here. And we're going to place down 2 end rods that are going to come off the side here of this stone block. That'll be out to both sides. We're also going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate. That's going to go on the side of this block as well, and we're going to open up toward it. We're also going to place down a end rod on top of this lever, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down a birchwood fence post that goes up from it like so, and then a fence gate here that's going to be opened up toward that fence post like that. After we have that all done, we want to place down a stone upside down stair on top here, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a end rod to both sides of that stair, just like that. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and also place down a andesite wall that is going to be on top of this stone block here, as well as a skeleton skull to both sides of that wall, and then a birchwood sign on the side of the wall like that. We then also want to place down an iron trapdoor here on top of the wall, and that is going to wrap that up, as well as an iron trapdoor coming off the back here of this stone stair. Going up from the stone stair, we're going to place down 2 more end rods that go up like that, and we're also going to go ahead and grab our iron bars, and we're going to place down a row of 3 of iron bars across that iron trapdoor. After that's done, go ahead and go into our rear mast here. We're going to place down 2 black concrete blocks that go up like so. We then want to grab our polished blackstone, and we're going to place down row 2 of polished blackstone slabs. So we're going to place down 1, 2. We're also going to place down a lever here like this, and then 2 end rods going up. And on the very top of that final end rod there, we're going to place down a flower pot, like so. After that, we want to go ahead and then go to the back here. We're going to take our dark oak wood fence gates. We're going to place down a fence gate here, open it toward the black concrete, then a fence gate on top, which will be opened up toward the back, and then on both sides of this last fence gate, we're going to place down an end rod, like that. We're going to go ahead and then take our barrier blocks, and we're going to place down a row of barrier blocks that's going to run from the end rods here, and it's going to run all the way back and connect up to our end rods that are on our funnel. And same thing will be done over here, like so. And then we're going to go and take our buttons, and we're just going to run them along the side there of those barrier blocks for a little bit of our rigging here, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and also place down an iron trapdoor on this black concrete block to both sides. We're going to place down an item frame, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a snowball in the item frame like that again for some more spotlights here located on the funnel. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and grab our barrier blocks. We're going to place down a barrier block that goes down from this end rod on both sides, and then a barrier block here in the center. We're going to place down a button on both sides of that bottom one, and then buttons on the 2 sides here of these barrier blocks like that. And once you have that all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layers 8 through 13. And with that, that's going to conclude my tutorial here for the USS Alaska, Alaska-Class Large Cruiser. Well, if you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use, if you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be the link from on the build to a link to my channel where this video with this does bring social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for the build, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, all that fun stuff. And again, the big special thanks to Patreon supporter the Grand Pope for making this tutorial possible. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Gear 204, and I'll see you guys next time.